Hello everyone, welcome once again to the channel. Today we will be taking a look at Yeat's new album 2093, released on February of 2024. Now this album was a very anticipated one since it would show a lot of more experimentation from Yeat, having a lot of self-produced tracks and very different sounds when compared to the previous albums that Yeat released. It definitely was a very polarizing album with a lot of people, especially critics, loving it, but also a lot of people really not liking the new sound that Yeat went with in this album. It's a pretty long track list, having 22 songs and then a deluxe edition with 2 more songs. But yeah, let's take a look at it and see how good it actually is. Also, this album doesn't have any singles, so let's go straight into the artist performance. Yeat isn't exactly a rapper that shines too much because of his rapping or really anything that has to do with him. I really don't know what he's saying here because on most of the songs he sounds really similar. He just isn't that unique. He's not bad or anything, it's just that most of the time the production is the highlight in his songs. All I can say here is that he really needs to stop doing songs where he just repeats the same thing over and over, like in 2093 and I Love. And his voice is pretty annoying in Nothing Changed, but apart from that, I don't really have anything negative to say. Now we go on to the important part, the production, which generally in here is great. I won't go through all of the tracks since there are like 20, but I'll mention my favorites. Of course, Breathe had that sick regular show sample which I loved. The bass in that song is just too powerful. Then we have Mister in between it, which is just such a vibe. It's the type of song that I would play at night when I'm laying in my bed. And finally, I wanted to mention Team CO, which is an amazing song when it comes to production. From the catchy synths to an amazing bass. Trust me, if you haven't heard this song, please make yourself a favor and go listen to it. But yeah, those are just some examples, but generally the production in this album is amazing, with the freaking use of synths and the creative bass use. The only time I didn't like the production was in Nothing Changed because the synths were kind of annoying, but I have no other complaints for the rest of the album. They be on dinner time, Thanksgiving time, November slime. Judge always trying to give me time, give me fed time, and that's plenty time, and I ain't got time. This album had a grand total of 2 whole features. I will cover the deluxe later. The first one was Lil Wayne, which is definitely something that you need to listen to a couple of times for it to totally click with you. At first it doesn't really sound right, but after a few listens it is a pretty nice one. It's nothing special, pretty mid to be honest, but it's an alright one. I enjoy it enough. I would say the same about a Future if it wasn't for the horrible mixing, and that is coming from someone that never, absolutely never notices the mixing issues. But in here, the difference between Yeat and Future when it comes to their mic quality is just way too noticeable. If we ignore that, it is a pretty solid feature, but I just wish it would sound better. Literally one day after the album came out, Yeat released 2093 Phase 2, which added 2 new tracks to the album, and for some reason they are randomly added into the track list instead of both of them being at the start or at the end of the track list, but whatever. The first one was Never Quit, which is an amazing one. It starts off with more of a rock vibe to it, but by the middle of the song, the synths come in, giving it that 2093 vibe. It is a really fun song, one of my favorites overall. The other song added was As We Speak with Drake, which was another amazing song. The sample at the beginning is really nice and the rest of the song has a cinematic feel to it that I love. And then there's Drake, who rides the beat super well in my opinion. They were definitely in a closer level than in their last collab, I Don't Give a Fuck, where I felt like Yeat carried Drake. Overall, although it added 2 songs, this deluxe was amazing. Overall, I felt like this was a great album from Yeat, to be honest. The only problem that I see with it is that it is way too bloated. Like 23 songs is way too much, and it has been a problem for Yeat for a very long time, with most of his albums being longer than 20 songs, which is just too much. If he would cut down the track list a little bit, it would make the replay value way higher. See, the problem with this album, even though I consider most of the songs to be good, is that most of the songs just aren't as memorable, since they get all mixed up. So a lot of them are in the range of good, but not on the great range, if you get what I'm saying. This album has a lot of songs that would go into your rotation maybe, but not a lot of songs that you would go out of your way to specifically choose, because you wouldn't really remember which song is which apart from a few ones. But yeah, that doesn't mean that this album isn't good. It is a very good listen. I would recommend you listening to this album and picking your favorites, because there is definitely a lot in here to pick from. But yeah, let's get now into my board. So for the best song, I have Team CEO, which is just an amazing song. I love the scenes in it. Its vocal performance is really nice. The production is just from another world. It's amazing. I love it. And as the worst song, I have Nothing Changed. As I mentioned before, the scenes are pretty annoying. Its vocals are kind of weird sometimes. It's just kind of an annoying song, not something that I ever go back to. As best feature, I have Drake in As We Speak. As I said before, he writes the beat super well. I think he did really great on that one. And as worst feature, I have Future. It really is just because of the mixing. It's really underwhelming, and it just kind of takes you out of the song. So yeah, I'm giving this album a 7 out of 10, a 7.0, a perfect 7 out of 10. Maybe if the track list was a bit shorter, it would have a higher score, but as it is now, this is what I'm giving the album. So that's it for 2093 by Yeat. Tell me what you thought about the album. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? And yeah, next time we will be looking at Mac and Cheese 5 by French Montana, which I am not excited for at all. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. Also, it has been nearly a month since the Vultures video, so I'm terribly sorry, but the channel has been doing pretty well in views, so I'm very happy. Thank you very much, and I'll try to get the Mac and Cheese 5 video sooner, because I have a lot of things to say about that album, but also I haven't heard a lot from it since it came out. I listened to it back in March, I think, so yeah, I need to listen to it a few more times before making that video. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon in another occasion. Bye bye.